Hello, Tom again here from Every Step Calculus, EveryStepPhysics.com. You can see the problem. What is the integral of sine of 3x squared? This person needs help, and he wants me to show all the steps. Of course, I always do that. This is from Yahoo Answers, which is my favorite. You get a little bit more. It doesn't cost any, totally free, and you get professors that answer the questions or whatever you might need. But there's nothing like my programs either in your titanium that you can have in your purse or your school bag and take it to a test. And I'm the only one that does this, so there's a million calculus sites on for your computer or anything else, but they're teaching you and you have to memorize stuff and remember it, and you'll learn extreme amounts of stuff in my programs, of course, just because you look at how the problem is solved and you try to remember that as good as possible. If you're into language at all, like I am, studying Spanish, and if you were to take Google Translate into your class, you'd do a lot better than taking your computer in and looking for sites to teach you Spanish and etc., etc. So let's do this problem here. Index 8 to get to my menu. My programs are only $40. You get over 500 programs in there, help you with all your calculus problems. From tests, there's a million functions that you could do, all of them basically worthless in life. I'm already at integration by parts here because anything with sine or cosine or e to the x, exponential stuff, logarithms, is all integration by parts if you're doing integrals of those, okay? So we press enter, get into the program, we enter the function here. Have to press alpha first, alpha left parentheses, because we're going to square the whole thing, and then the second, and then the y is the sine function, second register, in the calculator. Then 3 times x, close off the sine and the whole function, and to the squared. Okay, let's see if we entered it right. Sine of 3x squared looks pretty good, so we're going to say OK. I is equal to the integral. I is equal to integration. I is equal to the integral of sine of 3x squared. Okay. We take the inside of the parentheses, 3x, we find the derivative, which is 3 dx, and we switch the 3 over on the side. This is one of the things that was so confusing when I went to finally figure this out, because we're isolating dx because we need to substitute dx for this as we go along here. And we have an identity, which you got to memorize, 1/2 minus the cosine of 2u. Sine of u squared is minus sine here. Cosine of squared is plus. That's the only difference, okay? So this is minus. And the integral becomes 1/2 minus 1/2 times cosine of tu divided by du divided by 3. Now, in calculus, we have to bring the constants outside of the integral, so we bring 1/3 out, and we write it down to get organized. Integral of 1/2 minus 1/2 cosine of 2u times du now, okay? Because we put here's the 1/3 for the du over here. Now we factor out 1/2 because we got 1/2 in each term here, so we factor that out. Integral of 1 minus cosine of 2u du. We do the calculations of that. We get up 1/6 times the integral of 1 du minus 1/6 times the integral of cosine of du, okay? Well, we integrate, anytime you integrate 1 with respect to u, du, it's going to be u. So 1/6 times u, and I always add the plus c because anytime you're integration, without a definite integral, you're always using plus c. Okay? Minus 1/6 times sine of 2u divided by 2, that's the integration of cosine of 2u is this, sine of 2u divided by 2. So now we got something else to multiply here, okay? So we bring that out, 1/6 times 1/2 times sine of 2u plus c, okay? So now we have to multiply that, we get 1/12 times sine of u plus c. Here's another identity. Thanks for remembering it. There's many of these, you have to remember those in calculus classes, you know. And so then we add that into the function minus 1 u over 6 minus 1/12 times 2 times sine of u cosine of u plus c equals u6 minus 1/6 times sine of u cosine of u. Notice we multiplied 2 times 1/12, which is 1 over 12, which is 1/6, okay? And the answer is x over 2 minus 1/6 times sine of 3x times cosine of 3x plus c. Notice that the answer is more complicated than the original function, or at least looks that way. And remember that in integration, this is the area under this curve if it was a definite integral. It's not a definite integral, so there's 10 million plus c's you could decide on. That's the reason calculus never solves anything useful. And you can check that out on my Facebook page of calculus, okay, where I just describe how worthless calculus is to, always has been and always will be, for useful terms, you know. All these are parabolas, basic parabolas as you graph it, okay. Sine waves are like audio waves, you know, they go up and down. Cosine waves are that, so that's really neat for calculus because they can do the area under the curve, but you know, in electronics they'll say, oh, this is the wattage under the current curve or the whatever, you know. They dream up all this stuff, completely useless. All right, you have a good one. Go to buy my programs. You won't be disappointed, let me tell you. Why study all this stuff? You don't even know what to study in a test. You know, they put stuff easy on the blackboard and then test these god-awful problems you never even saw before, you know. I know that because people contact me all the time and ask me how to do problems. It's because the professor is such a lame professor. They don't teach what they're testing on, you know. So anyways, good luck in your classes and have a good one.